Gregory Keane continues the story from police headquarters in Phillip Street.
5 minutes ago, I had the pleasure of listening while Henry Murray put Mike Guzik under arrest for assault with violence, extorting money with threats, and half a dozen other charges to make the whole thing look good. You remember the taxi man, Bill Williams, identified Guzik by his voice after we'd put the fellow on tape. And we held him here while we played the recording back to Williams at the hospital. There wasn't any doubt about it. So here we are with the first of the NightShade ring hoodlums behind bars, on a specific count that we can make good. It was easy to record Mike Guzik. But what wouldn't I give to be able to record Huberman and Carlotta's reaction to Mike Guzik's arrest?
How did they identify him, Felix? Guzik swore the man Williams could recognize neither Tony Rico nor him. They took him into a dark alley.
It doesn't matter tuppence how they did it.
I tell you, there is more to Guzik's arrest than appears on the surface. First, he was merely taken for questioning. Now he is lodged in the cells. He would never incriminate himself, no matter how much pressure was applied.
Look, for heaven's sake, Carlotta, will you take control of yourself? Guzik knows he has nothing to worry about.
I am not concerned about Mike Guzik's worries. I am concerned about his intelligence. How can we be sure they won't trap him into admissions about us?
We can be sure because I've trained him and drilled certain fixed ideas into his head. Now listen to me. How the devil can Guzik or any of our men come to grief when no one ever gets a chance to give evidence against them?
Felix, what would you do if you were of the police?
Give this chap Williams protection, I suppose.
Then won't they? How do you propose to get rid of him in time?
My dear good woman, there are 50 ways of getting past a police guard when they can't afford to put more than 1 or 2 men on the job. Of course, if things refuse to arrange themselves simply, who cares if we have to attend to the police guard as well?
When will Guzik first appear in court?
The police court probably first thing tomorrow for remand. We'll have Langley on hand, and he'll tell Guzik's story about the alibi. I've briefed him already.
I have never trusted that shyster.
Would you prefer me to confide our affairs to a senior Queen's Counsel? Of course, Langley's a shyster, but for 3,000 a year and the evidence of malpractice we hold over his head, he's the best man in town to defend characters like Joseph Mikhailovich Guzik.
Kindly don't trumpet at me, Felix. I will not have it. Now, tell me without shouting. Will they give Guzik bail?
Well, it'll be touch and go. Depends a lot on the magistrate. But it doesn't much matter. The trial proper won't be held for some time. Williams must not be able to give evidence for the simple reason that there's no case against Guzik without him.
If you are sure of disposing of the men...
Of course I'm sure.
Perhaps in the end this will be a good thing. When others learn that one of them refused to be warned and died before he could stand up in court, the risk of going to the police will seem even less worth taking.
I'm glad that at last you can say something reasonable on the subject of Guzik's arrest.
Have I tried your patience, Felix, darling?
When I lose my grip on your affairs, I shall tell you. Until I do, I shouldn't have to justify every move I make, or cope with your ravings every time a minor obstacle crops up.
Would you describe Gregory Keane as a minor obstacle?
Gregory Keane's been dead 5 days.
Very well. Since you are in such control of forthcoming events, would it be too much to ask just how you propose to silence the man, Williams? You don't mind, Felix, if I show an interest in my NightShade ring?
Not at all. The method we use will depend on Williams himself. If he's in hospital for any length of time, he'll have to be taken care of there. But it'll be much easier if he comes out soon and gets back into his cab.
Now, look here, Murray. Guzik's going up at 10:30 in the morning. There's this fellow Langley representing him. What's the strength of Langley, by the way?
Gordon Langley's a crook. He's a razor-sharp criminal lawyer who makes a lot of money. But he's as crooked as a racecourse tout and twice as smooth.
Who retained him?
Guzik himself. He was allowed one phone call.
Well, we have to decide about bail.
My mind's made up, Keene. I say no bail.
Why not?
Because I want Bill Williams to be in one piece, above ground, when the case against Guzik is called.
Now, look here. If the NightShade ring are going after Bill Williams, keeping Mike Guzik out at Long Bay isn't going to stop them.
Let's both face it, Keene.
I am facing it.
You actually want them to have a crack at Bill Williams?
Well, they have to. They can only keep their hoodlums loyal by getting them out of trouble. Guzik's in trouble, in deep. But does he look worried? Not on your life. You couldn't get a word out of him. He's a shyster mouthpiece to stand up for him in court, and he knows perfectly well that the case against him depends on Williams alone. And he also knows that the NightShade ring can't afford to drop him cold. They have to take that crack at Bill Williams, and we have to catch them in the act.
Isn't it a bit rough on Williams?
Well, it can't be helped. We have to give Huberman opportunity after opportunity to stick his neck out. If it costs us some pawns, that's too bad, but it has to be done.
You chaps play a hard game.
And what sort of game do you suggest, Murray, against people like these? I've been hammering away at the same theme since I faced your senior men right here in Phillip Street 5 days ago. The NightShade ring have to be forced into the open. They have to be allowed to go their hardest. They have to be made to think that nothing stands in their way. The very nature of the extortion racket worked on a large scale makes it very nearly impossible to break up. Well, hang it, man, I shouldn't have to tell you.
You don't have to.
No, but I do. At the rate they're going, in a couple of years, this NightShade gang will be so strong that you'll be powerless. They tackle their victims one by one, so the case against them always rests on one man. They only have to get rid of that one man, and they're in the clear. With Huberman and Magnani sitting at the top of their criminal hierarchy, raking in millions. And sooner or later, they won't even have to resort to violence. Just the threat will be enough. Oh, the pattern's been established for you in the States. Crime organized like big business. Accepted, condoned. Crime made almost respectable. You can see it there, and soon you'll be getting it here. Crime reaching into every cranny of politics and law enforcement and commerce. Into the trade unions, into the courts. A huge inverted pyramid of lawlessness resting at any one moment on a bookie or a taxi driver or a cove with a little shop. Paying his future shillings a week or being beaten up in a gutter. Like Bill Williams, right here in Sydney this minute.
All right, Keene. You want Guzik out on bail.
I want Guzik out on bail.
He goes out.
But you don't take your eyes off him, by night or by day, till he walks into court to stand his trial.
If it's humanly possible to time to Huberman, we'll do it. But I tell you this, Keene. If they're too good for us and we lose Williams, we're not going to find another man ready to talk for quite some time. Word will go round. We'll be up against a stone wall.
Murray, if they get at Bill Williams, a ghost is going to walk.
You? All right, Keene, let's call it a night. Come on, I'll get you back to the Cunningham Towers, and if Miss Reed's waiting up for you, do you think we might have...
Good afternoon. You have a reservation for luncheon for Madame Carlotta Magnani.
This way, sir. Madame Magnani is already here.
I dare you look completely ravishing.
Thank you, Felix. I have been waiting an eternity. Another minute and I should have made a start.
Oh, do forgive me. I'll tell you when we're served. Have you ordered?
Mm-hmm. Shrimp cocktail, lobster salad, crepe Suzette.
Ah, nothing ornate, just food. Left the wine to me, good. Pierre, leave Framley 46. These cattle can't have drunk it all.
Very good, sir.
Now then, you've seen Langley?
Guzik's out on his own bond of 500. One surety for another 500. Langley posted it through a connection. It's nothing to do with us whatsoever.
For how long?
3 weeks. He comes up for trial on the 14th of next month.
Did Langley have much trouble?
I can't understand it. They made no objections to bail at all.
What?
I'd have sworn they'd make an excuse for keeping Guzik behind bars. He's up for intimidation. They generally hang on to them to prevent intimidation of witnesses.
I have that sense of something ringing false again, Felix. Why should they let Guzik go? With the taxi driver, the one and only witness against him.
Langley says the alibi must have swung it, and the fact that Guzik's had no previous convictions. I'm communicating with him solely through Langley. He's been instructed not to come near us or phone us on any account.
Now, one of the other men will have to take charge of our arrangements for Sunday night.
No, I'd better look after it myself.
No. I will not have you actually handling our narcotics at all, Felix.
We're bringing in 1,600 ounces of uncut heroin worth close on £100,000. Has to come 140 miles down the coast at high speed in 3 cars. I don't like leaving it to any of the others.
With Mike Guzik out of action, you will need another driver. Have you thought of that?
The new chap Fenner's supposed to be good.
I have told you before, I am not satisfied about Fenner. On every one of our men, you had full details of their European background long before they were brought into the ring. But this one, a Cockney from London, what do you know about him?
Enough.
You know nothing but what you read in a police file shown to you by Inspector Murray of the CIB. Yet you are prepared to include him in the most dangerous part of our activity. The last consignment we handle before we abandon narcotics altogether. The risk is too great.
I still need an expert driver to replace Mike Busick, and I'm determined to use the 3 cars.
Then you must look closer at this fella between now and the 25th. Be careful, Felix. Here comes Pierre with the telephone, I think, for you. Yes?
Monsieur Huberman, telephone for you, sir.
There you go. Yes? You're sure of that? Well, do better. I want to know the exact hour.
Who was that?
Gordon Langley again. With news of our friend Mr. Williams, the taxi driver.
Good news?
Very good news. He's leaving hospital tomorrow.
Ten days from now, Nick Barnes is due back from the east. 4 days from now, a shipment of narcotics is coming into the country. And 24 hours from now, our very game taxi driver will come limping out of hospital to run the gauntlet of the NightShade ring, knowing the risks and prepared to take them. The curtain's going up again. One way or another, it won't be long now.
What are Huberman's plans for disposing of Williams? Listen to the next chapter in this story of intrigue, Deadly Nightshade.